Hello, my dear friend. Are there moments in your life when you feel as if you're playing the lead role in a play whose script you didn't write? As if a special role has been assigned to you and you've been playing that role for years without even realizing it? Especially in family relationships, the roles that are unconsciously assigned to us in our childhood can deeply affect all our relationships in adult life, our work life, and even our perception of ourselves. If you keep experiencing recurring problems, if you always face similar disappointments in your relationships, or if you feel a sense of being stuck that you just can't figure out, the answer might be hidden somewhere you never thought of, within the secret roles in your family. In this episode, we'll discuss the hidden roles we unknowingly take on within our families, such as the savior, scapegoat, golden child, or lost child, and how these roles affect our lives. But more importantly, I'll tell you how we can break free from these seemingly predetermined roles, how we can write the script of our own lives. If you're ready, let's begin. So why do these roles emerge in the first place? To understand this, we need to think of the family as a mobile hanging from the ceiling. You know that thing that spins above cribs? That's the mobile. Each piece on that mobile represents a family member. In a healthy, balanced system, the pieces keep spinning in harmony like this. When one moves, the others gently follow along. But in some families, let's say there's constant conflict between the parents, or there's alcohol or substance addiction, a chronic illness, or maybe a big secret that's never talked about and kept hidden. These are important issues. That's when the family's balance is disrupted. That mobile starts to dangerously tilt to one side. In order to compensate for this imbalance and to stay upright, the system looks for a solution, and unfortunately, this solution is often placed on the shoulders of the children. To balance the tilted mobile, children unconsciously take on certain roles to create a counterweight on the other side. This is actually a survival mechanism. Our aim here is never to blame the parents, but to understand how that system works and how cleverly you developed a strategy to survive within it. The most well-known and most praised of these roles is the hero, or in other words, the savior role. This child is the pride of the family. They try to cover up all the family's problems and troubles with their own achievements. They might be the top student at school. They are the most well-behaved, the smartest, and the most responsible child. All the superlatives apply to this child. No matter how troubled the family may seem from the outside, people say, "But they have such a wonderful child." They strive so that people will say this. Deep down, they have this belief: if I am perfect, if I do everything right, my mom and dad won't fight. If I succeed, the dark clouds over our family will disappear. That's why, unfortunately, this child ignores their own needs, their own feelings, and even their own childhood. We can say that they are like a little adult in that family. So what does this hero child do when they grow up? They often become a workaholic. Because they measure their self-worth only by their achievements, they work non-stop. They constantly feel the need to accomplish something. They have difficulty saying no. They try to please everyone because they have tied their existence to this. For them, resting, making mistakes, or simply being is a weakness. They live with a constant feeling of inadequacy and fraudulence inside. Because no matter how successful they are, since they couldn't solve the family's fundamental problems, they subconsciously feel like a failure. If someone says something nice, they think it doesn't belong to them. Sometimes this hero role has an even more specific and dangerous version, the golden child role. The golden child is not only successful, but can also become a narcissistic extension of one or both parents. They are the showcase of the family. You could say they are the embodiment of everything the parent couldn't do or become. Their achievements become like a mask or a medal that the parent uses to hide their own failures. They are constantly held up as an example to their other siblings, and this creates deep rivalry and jealousy among the siblings. The golden child learns at a very early age that the parents' love and approval are conditional. They are only valuable as long as they make their parents proud. The most dangerous aspect of this role is that the child is never allowed to develop their own identity. They pursue not their own dreams, but those of their parent. So what happens when this golden child grows up? They often experience a deep sense of emptiness and an identity crisis. Because they have become addicted to applause and approval throughout their life, they can be extremely sensitive to criticism, for example. At the slightest failure, their world comes crashing down. Because they have no sense of inner worth. Their value is always dependent on external approval. They live a life programmed only to please others without knowing what they truly want or who they really are, and this life is truly very difficult. If every family has a hero or a golden child, then to maintain balance, there also needs to be a role that is the exact opposite, and that is the scapegoat. This child is labeled as the problematic, rebellious, naughty one in the family. All the fights are blamed on them. They are seen as the source of all the problems. Everyone in the family shifts all the blame and negativity onto this child to avoid their own responsibilities. For example, instead of facing the problems in their own marriage, the mother and father say, this child ruined us. By saying this, they shift the focus. The scapegoat is actually the person who outwardly expresses the family's unspoken anger, disappointment, and tension through their behavior. They are the safety valve of the system. By absorbing the accumulated negative energy in the family, they prevent the system from exploding. So, what kind of life does this child lead in adulthood? They may have problems with authority. They may be prone to self-destructive behaviors and addictions. But interestingly, among these roles, it's usually the scapegoat who is the first to come to therapy, the first to realize that something is wrong, Because they are the one labeled as the sick person in the family, they are the one who feels the need for healing most deeply. Even though they are made to believe deep down that they are bad, we can actually say that they are the most honest member of the family. And in the midst of all this chaos and noise, there is a role that almost makes you forget its existence: the lost child. This child is so overwhelmed by the tension and chaos in the family that they decide the best survival strategy is to become invisible. They withdraw into their own corner, stay quiet, and don't bother anyone. This is a self-sufficient child, often left alone with books, their imagination, or computer games. No one in the family asks how they feel or what they need, because they never cause any trouble anyway. Their silence slightly eases the burden on the family's shoulders. They bury their own feelings and needs so deep, so very deep, that when they grow up, even they have trouble reaching them. As an adult, they struggle to form close relationships. They can't express their emotions. They don't know what they want. Even when surrounded by people, they feel utterly alone. They are often deathly afraid of conflict and tension and give up their own self in order to fit in. They feel as if they are always watching their life from behind a veil of fog. Because as a child, they learn to disappear in order to exist. Look, this is a very important sentence. As a child, they learn to disappear in order to exist. And finally, there is the role of the family's source of joy, the mascot or clown who diffuses tension in the room with a joke. This child uses humor as a shield to ease the pain and distress within the family. Just as the mother and father are about to start fighting, they say something funny. They make everyone smile and, even if just for a moment, ease the tension in the room. They are like the family's antidepressant. Their job is to make sure no one gets hurt. But beneath this cheerful mask, there is usually deep anxiety and fear. These children continue to play this role into adulthood. They might be the funniest, most beloved person in their group of friends, but they feel like no one ever really takes them seriously. They avoid facing their own painful emotions. They turn everything into a joke. They have difficulty forming deep and meaningful relationships because they are very afraid that someone will see the truly anxious and sad child behind their mask. I really think it must be hard to be like this. So what should you do if you realize that one of these roles feels very familiar to you? Is it possible to change this fate? Absolutely yes. The first and most important step on this path is to become aware of it. Becoming aware of this hidden role. Even just saying, "Oh yes, that's me," while watching this video right now is already a huge step. Understanding that you adopted this role not because you are bad or weak, but as a brilliant solution you found to survive as a child allows you to feel compassion for yourself. This is not an accusation. This is a process of awareness and understanding. The second step is to consciously reject this role. You are no longer that little child. You no longer have to maintain the balance in your family. If you are the hero, you must allow yourself to make mistakes. You should give up being perfect for just one day. Let the dishes sit for a while. Don't finish a task on time. Say no to someone. You'll see, the world won't come crashing down. If you're the golden child, you must take the risk of disappointing your family. You can take up a hobby they wouldn't approve of. You can make a decision outside of their expectations. You need to experience that your worth is not measured by their approval. If you're the scapegoat, stop taking on the blame directed at you. Start saying, maybe the problem isn't with me. Speak up. Instead of hurting yourself, do something that makes you feel good. If you're the lost child, start to make your voice heard. It can even be a very small step. Say what you want to eat for dinner. Stop saying it doesn't matter. In your group of friends, say which movie you want to see. Start convincing yourself that your opinion is valuable. If you're the mascot, if you're always playing the clown, stop joking for a moment and try to say how you really feel. Actually, I'm a bit sad today, you know. I'm not feeling well. Saying this is a much stronger step than you think. The third and perhaps the most difficult step is to discover your own real needs and feelings. Because you've focused on your family's needs for years, you may have forgotten your own. You should start asking yourself, who am I? What do I want? Getting a notebook is very helpful. You can write in it. Try to understand what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you angry. This is a long but very valuable journey into yourself. And remember, you don't have to be alone on this journey. These roles are deeply rooted patterns, and sometimes we may find it difficult to change them on our own. Getting support from a therapist or a professional can guide you in the process of rewriting this old and worn-out script and can make things much, much easier for you. You are so much more than the role assigned to you. You don't have to be a hero, a scapegoat, a golden child, or a lost child. Beyond all these roles, you are a whole, vast person with your own dreams, feelings, and potential. The power to be the lead in your own story and to rewrite the script lies within you. Thank you for listening to me. See you soon. Take care.